Poker Stories is an audio series that features casual interviews with some of the game's best players and personalities. Each episode highlights a well-known figure in the poker world and dives deep into their favorite tales, both on and off the feld.
What's up? It's time once again for Poker Stories, presented to you by Card Player, the Poker Authority. We have some good news. Poker Stories is now officially on iTunes and wherever else you get your podcasts. So if you happen to be listening to this on YouTube or on the Card Player website, please know that you can now stream or download each episode and listen on the go. If you are trying to find the podcast in the iTunes Store or podcast app, search for Card Player Poker Podcasts or Poker Stories, and it should pop right up. And if you would be so kind, please take a few moments to subscribe, rate, and possibly even review the show. It really helps. Now that little bit of business is behind us, let me tell you about the latest episode. This edition of Poker Stories features Scott Seiver, who was kind enough to invite me into his high-rise on the Las Vegas Strip to talk poker. Scott is only 31 years old, but he's already established himself as one of the top poker players ever. That's not an exaggeration, folks. He has $21.7 million in career live tournament earnings, which is currently good enough for 6th place all-time. Scott has 5 seven-figure scores on his resume, with his biggest being a runner-up finish in the $500K buy-in Super High Roller Bowl in 2015 for $5.1 million. He also happens to be one of the most entertaining people in poker you can spend an hour with, so I won't hold you up any longer. Here's my talk with Scott Seiver. So, Scott.
Julia.
How have you been?
I've been great. How have you been?
I've been excellent. How were the holidays?
The holidays were good. They were nice. I've been here in Vegas for a while. There's been a ton of poker recently, so I've been doing that a lot the past month or so.
Yeah, in setting up this interview, I've noticed you've been keeping some weird hours.
Yeah, there's been games running kind of round the clock. Games will go for 30 hours at a time, so I've just been kind of jumping in and jumping out, and my sleep has been kind of random recently.
Mm-hmm. But what's the main schedule running? I mean, if the game's running around the clock, you want to be there at late night?
It's not that it's been running around the clock. It's more that it's been running for, say, 30 to 32 hours.
Yeah.
Then stops for 12 hours and then starts again. So
once everyone recovers.
Yeah, so sometimes I've played for 30 straight hours. Sometimes I've played for 10 and then stopped because I was tired or what have you. So it's just kind of whenever I've been up and around, I've been playing.
What's the longest session you've ever played?
The longest.
What's your personal Ironman record?
My personal Ironman was a long one. It was 70 plus hours. It was 3 days at the table at Commerce 3 years ago.
Oh man!
I took a 3-hour nap in between this. I played 50 straight hours, which is already, that alone would be the longest I've ever played.
Yeah.
My second longest is nothing. But I played 50 straight hours, took a 3-hour nap, and then grinded out another 20 after.
Is it because the game was that good or because you were that stuck?
No. The game was that good for
okay.
This one spot.
At least it's a happy story.
Yeah. This was.
You didn't grind for 3 days to break even.
No.
All right, well, time well spent.
Yeah, exactly.
Sleep when you're dead.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's get back into it. From the beginning.
Ooh.
You're an East Coast guy.
I am.
Yeah. New Yorker.
Yep. Grew up in Long Island.
Yeah.
And lived in New York until college, pretty much. Then actually moved back there for a couple months when I was in Manhattan. But yeah, I don't really consider myself an East Coast guy now, though, I guess, because I'm just in Vegas for so long. But
yeah,
grew up with all of it.
I picture a young Scott Seiver going to the park to school 80-year-olds in chess.
No, I wish that was me. That seems like a sweet vision for myself to have, but no, it was, I was much more like a suburban kid.
Okay.
I lived 45-minute drive from Manhattan, and I was about to say the city because that's how it's. Oh, I was about to say, yeah, I'm 45 minutes from the city because there's only one.
Yeah.
And there really is only one city. That's one thing that I feel is like very New Yorker about me. I didn't do like a ton of traveling as a kid and didn't really see any other like major cities until I was like 15, 16, I guess.
Okay.
And I remember going to Boston for the first time and being like, oh, we're in the suburbs. Where's the city?
Yeah.
And I was told, no, you're in Boston.
Yeah.
And
you got
like,
spoiled on New York.
My brain didn't compute. I'm like, wait, the streets aren't in like a square grid. The buildings stop after 3 floors. Like, I see this anywhere. I don't understand.
I came from Miami, and I kind of felt the same way when I moved out to Vegas, and people said, Vegas is a big city. I'm like, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
I can drive from one end to the other in 45 minutes with traffic. It's not that big. You know what I mean? Because you're spoiled on those big cities. New York, that's a city.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you realize it, yeah, everything's
I just thought that all cities were like that as a kid. I didn't realize that there was like a difference. We were like, oh, there's this city and
we're
this
going
city
to
and
the
that
city because that's the only place we could buy mattresses or whatever.
Yeah, I just didn't
Our
realize.
podunk little town doesn't carry them, you know? Okay, but you were a smarty.
Yeah.
You were a smart one. When did they realize that you were gifted? Is that the term they used?
That's a hilarious leading question. I don't know. I've always tried
Please,
to...
brag about yourself.
No, I've just always tried to get by, we'll say.
Okay.
Like, it's more that people may have thought I was smart despite my best efforts to hide it, kind of. Like,
okay.
I was the world's biggest underachiever, like, of all time.
Because you didn't have to try hard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would do no type of work ever in school of any kind. And just, like,
show up for the test and ace them?
Yeah. Just, like... Or not ace them and just... I don't even know. I just couldn't be motivated, didn't really care.
All right, so now I'm picturing high schooler Scott Seiver, successfully the cool guy in high school that no one realizes is a super genius until one day he crosses the bulletin board in the hallway and he sees an unsolvable math problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And after that, he gets into Brown University.
Scott Nash, of course. You know, it's a standard story. It happens all the time to everyone. No, I never really like enjoyed school, or that's not true. I never enjoyed working.
Okay.
And I still kind of don't enjoy working, I guess. And I've always been looking for a way not to, and poker kind of helped with that.
Well, so was poker you discovered at Brown or before Brown?
At Brown.
Okay.
I mean, I had always like enjoyed the idea of like card games and stuff like that, but it wasn't until Brown where like 4 different things happened at the same time that all brought me into poker.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about the 4 magical ingredients. One, I'm assuming, is the moneymaker boom.
Only kind of. I mean, the moneymaker boom...
Or the poker boom in general.
It got me to see it on television, but that didn't really plant any ideas in my head. What it was is I was in the same fraternity at Brown as Isaac Axton.
Who?
Isaac Axton.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was already basically a pro, even though he was 18 in college. He was playing online, playing pretty big stakes, like the biggest stakes limit hold'em there was.
Did you know him pre-long hair? When he was still in the growing it out phase?
It was pretty long back then.
Okay.
It was
So
pretty
he
long.
went to a high school that didn't make him keep it high and tight.
Well, I didn't know him in high school. But
I just picture like a freshman Isaac Axton showing up to Brown with like shoulder length hair and those John Lennon style sunglasses he used to wear.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can see like the old PCA footage of like him and Ryan Dowd.
Exactly.
For like the exact what Isaac looked like.
But you
back
guys
then.
were in the same fraternity.
We were in the same frat, so I got kind of indoctrinated into poker through that, where I'm like, holy shit, this guy is just like, clicking buttons, playing a game, and like making ridiculous money. Like, damn, this.
You went to
sweet.
him, right? He didn't like select you out of the crowd, and you're like, he's got potential.
No.
Okay. You just were over his shoulder and going, wow, he can.
Yeah. Like we would just be hanging out, and he would like be playing on a laptop or something, and I'd be like, damn.
Yeah.
Like that's sick. How do I get into this?
So how did you get into it?
So there was that. Then there was like one day I was walking through our like common lounge called the Blue Room at Brown, and there were a bunch of people playing like a $20 buy-in like cash game or something, which I was like, oh shit, let me jump into this. This seems fun. and I made like $100, which to me back then was like massive, huge
You
money.
stacked 5 people?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I'm rich now. Like, for me, at that point, to have like $100 in my pocket, it was sick. And looking back on it now, it is so clear I was by far the worst player. Like, by
Really?
far. Oh, God.
So it wasn't like you just had a natural gift.
No. I had no clue what I was doing. I was just doing outrageous stuff, but got, like, lucky this first day.
Hey, Jack 2, that has a picture in it.
Yeah, exactly. That was me every hand. Or, wow, 9-3, they both are numbers. That's cool.
So if you lose that session, do you think you become Scott Seiver?
I've wondered that before. I don't know. Maybe, probably, but maybe not. It's, like, really tough to say. Just because there were so many multiple weird things that happened at the same time. So concurrently with all of this, I'm playing little like $5, $10 buying games. I'm watching Isaac play. I'm like, it's in the back of my head. And then one day, Bill Clinton comes to give a lecture at Brown. And me and some of my friends from this game go to see the lecture. And an ex-Full Tilt pro, I don't know if you know the name, Bill Gazes, was there. I didn't know him
Bill, ex-wife is Christy Gazes?
Correct. I didn't know him at the time because I didn't watch poker on TV. It just kind of wasn't my thing.
Yeah, he did get some coverage in like 2003, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this would be in 04, this was. And a friend of mine recognized him and waited for the lecture to end and was like, "You're Bill Gazes, aren't you?" And he thought that his girlfriend put us up to it because he said he's never been recognized in public before. So he didn't like believe my friend.
He didn't realize what a poker nerd he had in front of him.
Yeah, that my friend like knew every single poker player ever. I had no clue who this guy was for the life of me. But he was like so honored that someone recognized him. He took the 4 of us out to dinner that night.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, this is so cool. Come on, let's all grab dinner." And then after dinner, he then pulled aside myself and Jared Oaken, another professional poker player that was one of my best friends at Brown.
Smokin' Oaken?
Smokin' Oaken, correct.
Okay, I remember the name.
Yeah, one of my closest friends at Brown.
Okay.
And he was like, "I can just tell the two of you have like potential. You guys are going to be like poker players one day. Like, let me stake you."
What?
I was like, sure. So I just met this guy this day. He didn't know me from a hole in the wall. I'm some sophomore at college, knows, nothing. And he transferred me, I think, like $5,000.
Okay, let me pause this story real quick here because it worked out. We all know the happy ending that this turned out to be. But how crazy do you have to be if you're Bill Gaze?
It's insane.
And you see a kid at Brown, by the way. You graduate from Brown, you can get a job anywhere. I mean, is that pretty much... It's an Ivy League school if you've never heard of it. So he could be ruining your life by just saying that sentence. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. Well, come on. He saw something, and look, I mean, he was right, clearly.
Yeah, he worked out.
So, yeah, he, like, gave me money. He's like, play online, play some tournaments, like, keep half of what you make and give me half.
Oh,
and I'm like, sure.
What a deal back in the day.
But it's more than just, like, trusting a stranger.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. Either the first or the second tournament I ever played was some, like, $100 tournament on Party Poker. Back then, they used to run every hour on the hour. Just $100 tournament every hour. And I won it for like $9,000.
Bill is a genius.
And I handed him the 45. I sent him the 4,500 right away. Which, by the way, random kid, sophomore at college, like, why is he trusting me? Like, it was just such a weird like set of circumstances to have happen. That like I was slightly interested. I knew this professional playing in my frat. I started playing at a home game, getting into it, and then met this pro that was just like, "I like the cut of your jib. Go play."
You weren't even 21.
I was 20 at the time.
Yeah, he couldn't even invest in you as a live player.
Well, I was gonna say then about like 7 months later, he does. I end up flying to LA, playing the LAPC for my first ever live tournament for a 10K.
Did you tell your parents?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they knew anything about this at the time.
Because what do you say? Some dude just giving me money to go play cards in LA.
Yeah.
I remember I hopped to LA.
Yeah, exactly. Like looking back at it, this whole everything was very surreal.
Wow.
It was just so weird.
Have you seen Bill in recent years at all?
I haven't seen him in the past like 2 years. But
yeah, I feel like it's been that while since you've been in the series.
but I saw him somewhat recently and used to see him every now and then.
Does he give you like shit for? He's like, "I made you."
No.
Okay, so you're playing for Bill. Things are going well. Graduate, not graduate, turn pro.
Graduated, worked at Lehman Brothers for 2 months. And
Before they kicked you out or before you said, I've had enough?
I said I had enough, but they would have kicked me out if I didn't do that at some point. I did, like, actual nothing for them. Because at this point, I already knew that, like, I wanted to be a poker player. I was mostly trying to, like, appease my parents, keeping, you know, options open, we'll say, was what I was telling myself at the time.
But what was your degree in?
I double majored in computer science and economics.
So what was the plan to do with that? You were going to become
a poker
a
player.
trader?
Oh, what my plan was,
what
like...
was the paper plan before you fell
There
back on
there
poker?
really was no paper plan
Okay.
at any point. Like, the whole time I was always thinking, I'm going to find some way to not, like, have a miserable job. Like, something's going to work out, which was another reason to make me want to latch more onto all this poker stuff that happened.
What if poker didn't work out? What was
Oh,
your
God.
backup to poker?
None. We were just out there with nothing.
I feel like you would have done well in improv.
Yeah, I would have moved to Chicago,
Yeah.
gone to Second City, and
Exactly.
I'd probably, you know, be on TV right now. So
Yeah, Saturday Night Live. for
I
sure.
really missed my calling. It's true.
Damn Bill Gazes.
Ruined everything.
That we can just blame him for everything that happens from here on out.
Well, I do.
He is
No.
the butterfly effect in your life.
But that's so true about so many people with everyone. Like,
No,
you can
let's
look
give
back
it all
at
to
you
Bill.
can look back at any single moment in your life and realize, like, oh shit, this is what caused these.
This
10,000 other
conversation about
things.
Bill is going to change my life in a way.
It almost certainly will.
Yeah.
You just don't know how, and we'll
I
never
hope it's-
know.
I hope it's positive.
God, I hope so.
So you mentioned that you flew to LA. Was that your first big live tournament?
I think it was my second. I can't remember the exact order of dates. I know I played the main event because I had won a seat for like $10 or something crazy like that. I knew it was my first tournament playing where you ever had over 100 big blinds, the main event.
What do I do with all these chips?
I remember I busted level 1. I got queens on like a 10 high flop. And I had never not got an all-in with an overpair before. Because like the tournaments I played, everything was like 30 big blinds because they were, you know, like $20 tournaments
Get
online.
it in. He's supposed to have King 10.
Yeah, I just got it in. He had a set. I was like, oh, damn. That was so unlucky. It was like 500 big blinds each, like 10-5 deuce rainbow. I'm done.
Yeah.
And so I think that was my first tournament, and then the one in LA was my second.
When did you feel like you belonged?
Wait,
Tournament number what?
I'm supposed to feel like I belong right now?
No, I mean,
I
like,
got
when did
there?
you feel like I'm on the circuit?
Oh, that's the crazy.
I'm one of the dudes out here.
No, that's the crazy thing. From hand one,
Really?
I just always assumed
These are my people.
No, I just always I'm like, no, I've got this cover. This is so easy. Like they've got no shot. And I used to keep track of like hands I played back then. And I remember a few years ago, I found this like giant like text file of hands I played back in like
Time capsule.
2005, and I was the worst player to ever play the game.
I guarantee you,
and
if
I was
you read
thinking
me
I
a
was
hand
so
history,
brilliant.
If you read me one of those hand histories, I'd be like, yeah, that all sounds perfectly standard.
No.
It was that atrocious?
It was all that atrocious.
Oh, wow.
Like, I played for glory back then. Like, I would try to, like, get a check raise in every street just to see if I could do it and stuff like that.
Put yourself in hero call situations?
Yeah. Just
Okay.
everything as
Those are
bad as
fun, though.
possible, just thinking I was, you know, God's gift.
I bet you found a lot of glory, though.
I found a lot of glory, that is true.
What's the worst bad beat you ever put on anybody?
I don't know. I can't really think. I feel that most poker players are more likely to forget the bad beats they put on people than the bad beats they've gotten.
That's why we ask it that way. That's why I ask it that way. Like I have a staff that came up with that question.
Like, I don't remember the bad beats I put on someone else. Like, that's their memory to remember for life, not mine. For me,
Somewhere-
that was just some bullshit hand.
Somewhere there's a guy who busted on the bubble of a huge tournament to you.
Oh,
and he's
for
living
sure.
in his mom's basement, and he's just scrawled out Seiver on the wall with a knife.
Well, that actually kind of reminds me something that I've always said about poker and poker players, especially like my generation of them. 99% of them have like the craziest origin story into poker ever, because what people don't realize is 10 million things had to go right to start getting to the stakes
Exactly.
and level that we're at now. So everyone that's here had some crazy good fortune to happen. For every one person that's here, there's 5,000 that could have been if not this littlest thing didn't happen to them back their sophomore year of college, let's say. So like, I feel it's really interesting when you hear everyone's like origin stories into poker, because they're usually like kind of pretty wild, at least of the people my age. Now it's just like, oh, well, I was bored and I did a ton of studying and I looked at a bunch of computer programs and now I'm really good. But like from my generation, we'll say, it's a lot more random, I feel, how we all got here.
Random, but all of them, including Bill Gates, is in some way.
Exactly. Just the godfather of everyone.
All right. You can keep the numbers to yourself, but the biggest pot you've ever won or lost. Your choice. Cash or tournament. Emotional stakes are fine too.
Okay, well, like, when I won the PCA 100K buy-in tournament,
Okay.
We were pretty even in chips, myself and David Sands, and got it in my 9s versus his 10s, and that was like $1 million difference or something insane like that, and I just hit the 9. Who does that?
Yeah.
For like one of the biggest pots you'll ever play in your life. You just got that. So that's always been a nice one that really rings out in my mind.
I mean, you could have said that one for the worst bad beat you ever put on anybody.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It cost David $1 million.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, he was playing the hand, so it took him like 14 minutes to lose that $1 million.
Yeah, he had a long time to savor it until he didn't.
Oh, well, David done pretty well for himself. So
yeah,
it's all good.
I'm sure he's gotten over that.
I don't think he's in his mom's basement.
No. No.
Oh, I want to hear your best degen story.
I don't really have degen
But it
stories.
can't be poker related.
That's what I was saying. I don't really have degen stories.
I know you make side bets from time to time.
Okay. I guess my worst degen is...
Nothing illegal.
No. I lost 20K once on a bet on if a person was doing a breaststroke or a butterfly stroke while they were swimming on TV.
Was it the Olympics?
It was.
Okay. So this most recent or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was so certain.
Wasn't the event labeled as that event?
It was the medley.
Oh, so they can choose whatever they want? Or, oh, no, there's an order to it.
Yeah, there's an order to it.
Right.
And I was just so certain that they were doing one, and this other guy was certain they were doing the other, and he was right to be certain, because I was wrong.
Well, demonstrate the stroke, and I'll let you see if I can...
demonstrate the stroke.
They can't see it.
No, I'm saying because if I could demonstrate it, then I would know the difference. That's my point. I can't demonstrate it.
Was it one of these? One of these?
No, see, that one I know. I know the crawl, but...
It's not called the crawl. It's called freestyle.
Yeah, well, no. Freestyle means you can do whatever you want. But
they
all do that
because
that's the crawl.
Oh, you see, now
which is the fastest one, see?
This is why Michael Phelps won't sit down for an interview with me. I have to get my swimming game up to par.
We'll work on that, though.
All right, so you lost 20K, and how did you prove it?
We looked it up within like 5 seconds. Obviously, no, it was just devastating.
Whatever happened
it was a nightmare.
Were you part of the big Laud and Thinks crew when that came out? When that was a big trend?
I mean, I never played for like big money or anything, but
I thought that was so much fun, and they should bring it back.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. It's a really enjoyable way to pass the time or to get to know someone.
I really do think it creates a very fair game.
Yeah, it's a great gambling game. It's a fantastic
Look it up if
game.
you haven't. You have no idea what we're talking about. All right, let's get into some quick ones. What's your favorite thing about being a poker pro?
Being my own boss.
Yeah, everyone. I'm going to eliminate this question from the entire podcast.
Although it's very closely tied to not having to wake up to an alarm clock.
Right.
There's something very specifically miserable about waking up to an alarm clock versus just waking up when your body decides it's time to wake up. And that's nice. But that's more just like being self-employed, like setting your own hours, which goes back to being your own boss.
Yeah.
Which is why that's the real major
Have you ever been like a task maker with yourself? Like,
no.
Been like super militant just for 1 month? And just
no,
you know what,
not even the slightest.
I'm just going to try getting up and doing 20 push-ups and then eating some sort of raw egg smoothie.
Yeah, write down on my whiteboard here my exact schedule every 15 minutes what I'm going to do. Thank you.
I will say, I do like the art you've put on the walls.
Thank you.
Where did you get those? Thailand?
No.
Pier 1?
much closer to Pier 1 than Thailand.
He doesn't even have a whiteboard, guys. It's all a lie. We're not even in this house right now.
No. But they'll never know until you tell them that.
I know. Least favorite thing about the poker world?
Okay.
David Sands.
This is going to sound like a cop-out answer, but
okay.
My least favorite thing about the poker world is how much the poker world loves to talk about hating the poker world. And I'm dead serious when I say this, because this is like my high horse that I talk about all the time.
Love it. Rant away.
People always love to say that, like, poker players are douchebags, or like this, that. Like, someone does something and they say, oh, poker players are selfish, instead of saying people are. Because there are so many things that, like, 92% of people do, and then someone in poker does, and they say, oh, look, all poker players do this. And it grinds my gears. Because it's such a, like, easy cop-out to say, oh, poker players are bad, in this way to classify them as if they're that different than, like, other people.
Well, the
and
thing
they're
about
not.
poker
They're just
is
not, though.
Poker is a perfect slice of life, other than the lack of female representation. But for the most part, it encompasses all ages, races.
Exactly.
Sexes. So if you're gonna have a little bit of everyone in the poker world, you're also gonna have a little bit of the bad of everyone.
Yeah, and people always say things like, "Oh, look what poker does," or "Look what poker players do in this way," when they really just mean people. And it's exactly that, because it's like a pretty fair representation of how people are. So it always kind of like really bothers me when people love to blame the poker community for whatever bad things people do in general.
Let's keep you more angry, because I like the fiery Scott side. Most frustrating thing you've ever read about yourself, online or in print, or
nothing really. Everyone loves me.
You're not like they got that. They quoted me out of context.
No, I never care about any of that stuff at all.
Oh, good, because I'm gonna misattribute so many quotes.
I love the poker media.
I love that you love the poker media. Thank you for loving the poker media. But okay, so you're on the rail talking to a buddy in a big tournament, and then some idiot who has no understanding of poker leans over and asks you a dumb question. What is it?
Like, what kind of question are they asking?
Yeah, what is the dumbest question you get from non-poker people about poker?
Oh, from non-poker people,
right? It's because those are the funniest.
I feel all the answers for this are like so stereotypical, but it's because they're true and they always happen. Like, people will be like, "Hey, man, can I give you like $100? Then you give me like 200 next time you win." Like, I've had like that genuinely asked to me.
People just like, "You double this for me?"
I've had a person come up for a photo with me and then say, "Quick question." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What? How do you play jacks?" What? What do you mean? How? And just that's the question. We're done. Like,
do you have a standard line you take with jacks?
No, it's really interesting to get the questions, and we take it for granted that all these questions are silly because we understand the world we're coming from and like all the vernacular that we use, but to 95% of people, like, there's a huge barrier to entry, even with the terminology, the words, the definitions, everything, and it's kind of daunting. So,
oh my gosh,
none of it actually really bothers me.
I'm gonna have to eliminate this question because you were the second person in a row who's taken the empathetic approach and has been like, "Hey, they don't know any better." When I'm just like, I just want to hear some funny questions.
Yeah. But see, that implies that I'm listening when people talk to me.
How do you play jacks, Scott?
I'm sorry, did you say something? I just wasn't even listening.
Do you play them like you play queens on a 10-high board with 100 big blinds?
Exactly.
In the first level
See,
of the tournament?
you listen. That's the difference. You remember things that people
I'm only
say.
Doing it
and then you're showing off. Then you're showing off. Exactly.
I'm not even taking notes, guys. All that scribbling you
This
hear
is all from up top.
Exactly. I like this one. Your favorite tournament destination?
Barcelona, for sure.
Why?
What do you mean why? Barcelona.
I didn't mean that to like. Why would you? I just mean like, that's interesting. Why?
I mean, it's just an awesome city. For some reason that I'm not entirely sure, I feel like the people, like the poker players, are happiest when they are also, which like makes for a better atmosphere. The food is awesome. It's one of the only cities on the tour that it's like a great time to be there. So the like little secret about like poker tours in general is that for the past like 8 to 10 years, every city you're going to is that city's like worst month of the 12 to be there, because the hotels are emptiest and blocking hotels and conference rooms are the cheapest at that time.
It's always off season.
It's always off season wherever you are. So you're always like
January
in a great
in the
spot.
Bahamas.
Exactly. You're always in a great spot. There's like 1 month you wouldn't want to be in that exact spot. And even though Barcelona in August is like extremely hot, it's still awesome.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. So
I
that
liked,
helps a lot too.
I had a bad experience going to Barcelona just because I lost my luggage and it took me 3 days to get there. But I did love that the tournament started at like 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because the casino didn't open until like 2 or something.
I just love the whole concept of the
siesta.
You start having dinner at like 11 p.m. there.
Yeah.
Like people like first go out for the night at 2 in the morning.
Do you have any Spanish blood in you? Maybe that's why your sleep schedule's all messed up.
Maybe that could be what it is. I've just been prepping for next August.
Is your father Javier Seiver?
God, you know. You knew.
I see it.
I've been trying to keep that hidden for way too long.
I see it. Okay, so Barcelona. Okay. Well, if you had to pick number 2.
Honestly, I love the Bahamas. Lots of people love to like kind of rag on the Bahamas and PCA, but that's like the epitome of poker as summer camp for me, because everyone is there always, and it's this
Plus,
like
your results
big
have been good
reunion.
there.
Yeah, my results have been good there, which is nice. I don't know, it's been like a real mainstay.
Your worst regular job before poker. Did you have any real jobs?
Yeah, but I kind of like them all. I was a tutor for the Kaplan Institute.
Okay.
They had a program called SCORE, which was like computer...
Not as fun as it sounds.
No, computer testing for children that were either like exceptionally gifted or exceptionally far behind. Like kids that weren't average.
Outliers.
Outliers, correct.
To use an economics term.
Nice. Showing off. So I worked as a tutor for them for a bit. I was a grill cook at a burger shop. But like,
has any of those skills
translated into?
No, I'm just saying. Can you make like a mean burger in your kitchen now?
No.
No.
I mean, yeah, I can make a burger, but it's not because of
I once worked
there.
at a fast food place for about 2 weeks.
Do you think that helped you make a burger better now?
But I can't. They never let me do the burgers.
Oh, really?
No,
I was the burger guy.
I prepped the onion rings from scratch, and now I can make a pretty good onion ring.
Really? Nice. Yeah. Prep is the worst work.
It's the worst.
Prep is the worst work for sure.
They wanted me in the back of the house.
Exactly. yeah. Obviously,
don't talk to the customers.
The register is number one, but they don't let people like us at the register.
Oh,
I wasn't allowed at the register, but I was allowed to actually be on the grill at least. So I had that.
Did you at least enjoy that?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I didn't have any like jobs that I didn't like, and those are really the only two. And they weren't like real jobs.
Have you ever thought about what you'll do like after retirement?
Not really, to be honest. Like
be a Walmart greeter or something.
I think I'd be a great greeter.
Yeah.
Keep that smile on even when I'm hating everyone. It's kind of my specialty.
Oh, now? Are you doing it right now?
No.
That hurts.
Hey, and welcome to my home.
You're smiling even bigger now, which makes me think you're hating me even more.
See, no, that's just showing that the previous smile was fake, and now this is the real
smile
one.
that proves the rule.
Exactly.
Okay.
I like that you're laughing at your own stuff, though.
I mean, either way, if you hate me, then I'm just taking up your time, and that makes me laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you like me, and it's all good.
Yeah, it's
win-win. Okay, fun one, because this really says a lot about you.
Uh-oh.
You got your headphones on at the table. Okay. What are you listening to?
Depends a lot on if I'm currently winning or losing, what my mood is.
Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, so let's start with winning. Is it something that like keeps you in that same mindset?
I would say most of the time I'm listening to like either like Nas or Wu-Tang or the solo projects from the Wu-Tang, but like
very
older
music.
rap. Yeah.
I would think you're winning.
That's like my go-to music.
I would think if you're winning, you don't want to mess with your equilibrium, so you just want to keep on like tranquil.
No, it's more about like
classical guitar rock. Something.
There'll be like more mellow stuff if it's like the World Series and I'm just trying to get through another tournament and I'm like bored out of my mind. There'll be stuff like more mellow indie rock, we'll say, for that. But if I'm actually like focusing, trying, and like wanting to play, it's definitely more upbeat.
Anything inspirational? Rocky soundtrack?
No. I don't do the inspirational music. My inspiration comes from within.
Oh, now I can win this pot.
Yeah.
Thanks,
but see,
Rocky.
I say that every pot.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of those lessons that poker players have to learn. When did you discover that you shouldn't try to win every pot?
I haven't yet. I still haven't discovered
it's
that.
It's just working out for you?
Yeah, it's just really worked out. I'm waiting to learn that lesson the hard way.
That's good. All right, well, what are we at here? Oh, we still got time. That's perfect. That's perfect. So let's talk... the best poker player we've never heard of. This is a fun one. Because you probably know a lot of cash game guys who'd never get credit. Or maybe they don't want their names revealed.
That's what I was saying. I don't know. I feel if there's some great guy that, the world doesn't know about, I feel it'd be wrong of me to, out them in any way then. if people work hard to maintain a cover, who am I to change that?
Okay, let's talk about the anonymity aspect, because you play high-stakes cash. What percentage of the high-stakes cash regulars are people that the poker world knows about, or the average poker fan would know about?
Not a lot. I mean, like, the people that play that, like, the average poker fan knows are, like, Doyle, Phil Ivey. But then a lot of them are, people that the average fan doesn't know. That, poker players would know, but that the average, fan that only watches, like, Poker After Dark or televised tournaments would have no clue who the hell they are.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. People really only know the tournament stars, and you've been a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So that's got to be put a feather in your cap.
It's definitely very fun to get to see both sides of the coin, we'll say.
Do you pride yourself on being well-rounded in that way?
Because
I always think it's funny, like,
enjoy it, yeah.
In a way that a golfer would be like, oh, my putting is a little off. They go and work on that. I wonder if, like, top poker pros go, you know what? My turn play lately.
There probably are ones that think that, but not me. That's not who
Or maybe you do it by
am.
game. Like, you know what? I am not as good at Omaha 8 as I thought I was. Or whatever that is.
Come on, that involves, like, introspection, self-reflection, and accurate assessments of, like, who we are.
Yeah.
No human does that, like, poker player or not.
But don't you need to have a healthy assessment of your own skill level to be successful at poker?
Oh, of course, but it's like one of, if not the hardest things there is.
Just to play devil's advocate, don't you need a complete unrealistic assessment of your own skill in order to have the balls to be successful at poker?
You need to have confidence in one moment and then realizing when it turns to hubris in the next moment. You have to, like, get as close to the line as you can without crossing it, but then realizing when you have.
How often do you cross this line?
Constantly.
Scott?
I'm on the wrong side all the time.
You're a habitual line stepper?
Yeah. Can't help myself.
So what's the plan? What's the plan? You said you don't have a retirement job picked out.
I feel that, like, I don't know, I love poker still. I actively love it. Mm-hmm. I have a ton of fun playing it. I think it's super interesting. So I'm not looking for anything else right now, at least.
Well, I didn't mean, like, pick a new career,
Scott.
Yeah. Go back to, what was it, Lehman Brothers?
Doesn't exist anymore.
I'm sure they'll welcome you with open arms.
Exactly.
I just mean, like, where do you see yourself in 50 years in the poker world?
In 50?
Yeah. Are you the Doyle?
I don't think I'm the Doyle.
No.
I mean,
because think about it. Right now, there's only one Doyle.
I think the universe is going to be too crazy in 50 years for there to be, like, poker.
Really? Poker's not even going to be a thing?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure what's going to be a thing in 50 years.
I feel like poker's going to be around for so long because it's like the last of the... We could all do it at any time. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm hoping...
Golf will go away because we need courses
Yeah,
to play.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
This
so that'll
you can be,
one
like,
of the first world problems that goes away.
You can be in a bunker.
Yeah.
And you can still play poker. I see what you're saying.
Deck of cards.
Yeah. You gamble for like anti-radiation medicine. You know, the stakes have never
you have
been
a
higher.
very bleak view of the world in 50 years.
No, what are you talking about? We have anti-radiation medicine. That's a much better view than many of my friends have.
But you're gambling for it.
Well, we don't have enough for everyone, but we've got some. So that's pretty optimistic.
Some sick person is risking their own radiation medicine.
And what I'm going to tell them is they should have asked how to play jacks when they were healthy.
There you go. Oh, now you had
See,
the
that's
callback.
the callback. That's the callback.
Oh, I wish we could end the podcast on that note, but we have to keep going and keep dragging it down worse and worse. I like to structure my podcast in the same way I write, in the inverted pyramid format.
Okay.
Where all the good stuff's up top, and then it just slowly filters into garbage.
You know you're supposed to have like your second best thing first, your best thing last, and then all the garbage in the middle.
No, I don't trust people to stick around for this thing past the half-hour point, so I gotta hit them right with the best stuff.
Yeah.
But hey, if you want to try to pick it up, let's go for it.
No. I'm ready to sail down.
Right now, there's a Doyle. Right?
Yeah.
There's only one real Doyle. There's
For
nobody.
sure. There's no one even close to close.
So who's going to be the Doyle of your generation? Because if there could only be one.
Jason Mercier, maybe?
Really? Because he just loves it that much and you think he'll just still be doing it?
Yeah, I mean, like, he's multi-talented, plays tournaments and cash games, and, like, really loves it and is, like, a true gambler. Like, he's someone that I could see.
Okay.
Like, if there's going to be, like, this is, like, the guy.
But not you. You don't think... You don't want
it could be, for sure. It could be me. It definitely could be. We're not going to say that it couldn't be
Which
me.
one of you looks better in a cowboy hat?
Oh, man.
Because
I've never seen either of us in a cowboy hat.
Uniform.
Yeah, of course.
All right, we always end it off with a fun, random question from a random question generator website, which I will not promote. Ooh, this one is great, and I'm going to be strict on it.
This feels so not random.
No, I just clicked refresh.
Okay.
Where did you go on your last vacation? But you can't answer a poker vacation.
Of course, that's not vacation,
Yeah,
man.
you didn't play any cards.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some open face.
No. My last, like, real vacation was in Tokyo. A bunch of friends and we went for, like, a week.
Drop names, come on.
No, he wasn't there, actually. No, the no was naming people that weren't there in my head.
Can I make up names?
Dan Smith, Donnie Stern.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, yes. Friends of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all went to Tokyo, mostly for, like...
Whose idea? Was this a Scott idea, or did someone else drag you along? Or?
So, what happened was there is some bet that happened years ago, a few years ago, for, like... There was a... I don't know the way to describe it. There was, like, a swap. Like, hey, if any of, like, the 8 of us make the final table of this or whatever... whoever does best has to take all the rest to Tokyo for a vacation.
Okay.
A bunch of us wanted to go.
This must have been a big final table.
Yeah, this was for something. I honestly can't remember what it was. And Steve O'Dwyer won the tournament and had to take everyone, like, by everyone I mean like 4 people that were in this, to Japan for a vacation.
That's fine. Steve's won enough.
And a bunch of us heard about this and we're like, oh, this is such an awesome idea. Like, that sounds so much fun.
Oh, you weren't even on the bet?
No. Well, it's even better than this. And we're like, oh, we all want to go. This sounds awesome. And then Steve had to cancel for some reason. I forget what it was, but he couldn't go.
So he funded half of vacation?
No.
Oh, okay.
So we just decided to take a bonus trip to Tokyo that won't count for this at all.
Oh, wow.
And then a bunch of us just went because we're like, we're all thinking, this sounds like such a great idea. Wait, we can just do this on our own anyways.
Yeah.
And then in either
anything to do.
Exactly, and then in either March or April, Steve's actually taking the people from the bed again to go.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about your trip to Tokyo. What did you like about it?
It's the biggest culture shock I've ever had from even being like around the world.
Even more than that first trip to LA.
Call back. Pretty disappointing one though. But
I know, but it still
counts.
counts. I'm on the board.
Yeah, you're on the board. No, it's wild. I can't really describe it. It's, I mean, it's like the movie Lost in Translation is all about it, but it's real.
You met
it's
Scarlett
true.
Johansson?
I did. It was amazing. I then starred in a Suntory whiskey commercial. It was pretty awesome.
Nice.
No, it was so cool. The food was awesome. Everyone is so interesting. Went to Kyoto for a bit, and there's just like temples everywhere. It was like majestic. That's the word.
When I picture like
majestic.
Tokyo nightlife, I picture a bunch of people drinking sake and like doing karaoke in a small venue that's like down on Alley Street.
Yeah,
everything's
everything is down
crowded.
on Alley Street. Everything.
Okay.
Even with GPS, it's impossible to find anything. I've never experienced anything like it. Like, you'll be like standing on the location. You're like, the blue dot says we're here, and you'll look around. There's 52 buildings
maybe
here,
it's that blue door,
and you just have to guess which one of these like 50 buildings it is. It's everything is down an alley. Everything is like very cramped. That's a real city, by the way. You talk about like New York is a real city, and Boston isn't. Tokyo is a real city.
That's the first city to impress you in a while.
Yeah, no, it was the first city to impress me in a while. Exactly.
I wonder how LA fit on you, because as your first
LA's
trip
not
out
a city.
there,
It's so
well, yeah,
spread out.
you also, what did you go out there? The Commerce or the Bike or
Commerce. I didn't even
so
see
you
any of
didn't
LA
even
at all.
see LA.
No, it was Bike actually. My first one, it was the Bike.
Right, so that's Bell Gardens, right? And Bell Gardens
yeah.
is a lovely little town. We will not disparage.
No,
but
of course not.
It's not exactly a beach town.
It's not LA.
Yeah.
It's not LA.
Yeah. So you weren't off.
No, I wasn't like, wow.
Scott, thank
Julio?
you so much for letting me into your frat house.
Of course.
Is this place still considered the frat house, or did everyone move out?
Everyone's gone. Everyone's gone.
You're the only poker player still left?
No, there are poker players that live here, but not. It's not like it was, of
Okay.
course, because everyone moved out of the country to play online.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you
of course.
being on our little show.
Thanks for having me.
That's our show this week. A big thank you once again to Scott Seiver for the conversation. You can follow him on Twitter at Scott_Seiver. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe, rate, or leave us a review. If you are feeling particularly generous, maybe you could even share poker stories with someone you know. Be sure to check back soon for the next episode of Poker Stories, and head over to Card Player for the latest in poker news, tournament results, strategy articles, and player interviews.